Here because, well, you want to get straight to the good stuff, right? Grab the key knowledge, get inspired, but without wading through hours of info.
Exactly. You want insights? Fast. And today, we're diving into something I think we all struggle with.
Oh yeah, what's that?
That little voice that tells us to wait. Wait for the perfect time, the perfect plan, the perfect feeling before we actually chase those big goals or dreams.
Ah, the perfect moment myth. I know it well.
We all do. So we looked at a really motivating source, a podcast called Start Now, Don't Kill Your Dreams.
Yeah.
It's not academic theory. It's very direct, very actionable.
Okay, I like the sound of that. So what's our mission for this deep dive then?
Simple, really. We want to pull out the absolute must-know advice from Start Now on how to actually, begin.
Yeah.
How to launch those ideas even when you're feeling scared or like things aren't quite right yet.
Got it. Let's tackle that inertia. Where do we start?
Well, the Source podcast talks a lot about this thing they call the waiting game. You know the one?
Oh, definitely. Waiting for the stars to align, waiting for motivation to magically strike, waiting for all the fear to just disappear.
Right. And the hosts of Start Now, they make this really striking point. A lot of people wait their entire lives. They're waiting for conditions that honestly might never be perfect.
That's a heavy thought. It makes you think, what are you putting off right now? Listeners, maybe take a second. What's on your back burner?
And then ask, why? Why haven't I started? The Start Now podcast suggests digging under the surface. Often it's fear, isn't it? Fear of looking silly or failing or maybe just the unknown.
That feeling of I'm not quite ready yet, it's almost like a default setting for us humans.
It really is. But Start Now pushes back hard on this.
Yeah.
They basically debunk the whole idea that you need to feel 100% ready.
Did they give examples?
Yeah, they point out that tons of successful people we admire, they started absolutely terrified. They felt unprepared, out of their depth.
So the message is,
The core message, and I think this is huge, is you'll probably never feel 100% ready. And you know what? That's okay. It's actually normal.
okay, so if we don't wait until we're ready, how do we actually grow? How do we get better?
See, that's another key point from the source. You have this great line, you don't grow by planning, you grow by doing.
Say more about that. Planning feels productive.
It feels productive, sure.
Yeah.
But think about it. You can map everything out, strategize forever, but the real learning, the actual skill building, the confidence, that only comes when you jump in and start doing the thing, even if your first attempts are, messy, imperfect.
Right. You learn by stumbling a bit. And what about the fear factor? That's often the biggest hurdle.
Totally. And Start Now has a really interesting take on this. They say fear loves silence and inaction. It just grows bigger in your head. But action shrinks it. And courage isn't something you have. It's something you build step by step by taking action despite the fear.
That rings true. Think about a time you were really nervous about something, maybe a presentation, a tough conversation.
Yeah.
And afterwards you thought, that wasn't nearly as bad as I imagined.
Exactly. That's action diminishing the fear right there. It happens almost every time. Avoidance just makes the fear monster bigger.
Okay, so action shrinks fear. What else does inaction cost us? The podcast must touch on that.
Oh, it does. Big time. The Start Now hosts are very clear. The biggest cost of not starting is regret.
Ooh, regret.
Yeah. They paint this picture. Imagine yourself at 80, looking back. What feels worse? The memory of trying something and maybe not succeeding perfectly, or that nagging feeling of, I wish I'd just given it a shot. I wish I'd started.
That hits home. Nobody wants that feeling. Visualizing your future self, that's actually a pretty powerful push, isn't it?
It really can be. Thinking about what advice your 80-year-old self would give you now can cut through a lot of that stuck feeling.
So if the problem is waiting and the cost is regret, what's the big solution according to Start Now?
It's beautifully simple, actually. Just 2 words. Start now.
Start now, okay. But how? That can still feel huge.
Right, and they elaborate. They say, start small, start scared, start messy. It's all about lowering the bar for entry. Forget perfection.
Start small, start scared, start messy. I like that. It feels permission granting.
Exactly. And they had this lovely idea. When you begin, life begins to meet you halfway. Like the universe rewards action.
That idea of starting small, it's about momentum, isn't it? Like getting a heavy flywheel moving.
Precisely. That first tiny push takes the most effort. But once it's moving, even a little, it gets easier to keep it going. You build momentum. You just have to trust the process will guide you a bit.
And they had a quote about greatness, I think.
Yes, it's a fantastic one. You don't have to be great to start. have to start doing great.
That flips the script completely. You don't need to be an expert before you begin.
Exactly. It says greatness, expertise, whatever you want to call it. It's not a prerequisite. It's the result of starting and sticking with it. Courage and commitment are the keys, not existing brilliance.
It frees you from that paralysis of needing to be perfect right away. You can just learn as you go.
You got it. Embrace the messy learning process.
Okay, so let's make this super practical. What are some of those small starts the podcast suggests?
They give really concrete, almost tiny examples. Like, if you want to write a book, don't think about the whole book. Just write one paragraph.
Yeah.
Today.
One paragraph. Okay, what else?
Want to get healthier. Don't commit to running a marathon tomorrow. Just go for one short walk. Want to start a business. Forget the 5-year plan for now. Just brainstorm one idea.
It makes it feel so much less daunting.
Right. And they frame these tiny actions in a really cool way. They call them bold declarations to the universe. Like, even that small step signals your intent.
I love that. Bold declaration. It gives weight to starting small.
And psychologically, it matters too. They explain that taking action, any action, sends a signal to your brain. Hey, this matters to me.
And inaction signals the opposite.
Yeah. Inaction subtly tells your brain, maybe this isn't that important after all. So our brains are kind of watching our actions to figure out what we truly value.
That's fascinating. Our actions shape our own self-perception.
Definitely. Taking action builds that self-belief, that feeling of, I can do this. Staying still.
Yeah.
Well, it can feed into feeling stuck.
Now, this all sounds great, but what about results? Sometimes you start something and you don't see progress right away. That can be discouraging.
Totally. And the Start Now hosts acknowledge that. Immediate results aren't always visible, but they offer this really encouraging long-term perspective.
What's that?
They basically promise, look, if you stay consistent, if you just keep showing up and putting in that small effort regularly, you will likely not even recognize yourself 6 months from now.
Wow. That's a bold claim, but motivating.
Yeah.
Focus on the growth over time.
It's about the compound effect, right?
Yeah.
Small steps, repeated consistently, lead to massive changes down the line. Progress isn't always linear, but consistency always leads to growth.
So boiling it all down, the main call to action from Start Now is
Do one small thing today.
not tomorrow, not when you feel like it.
Yep. Today, now, even. Just one tiny step towards that goal. They really stress that this single small move could be the catalyst, the thing that breaks the inertia and sets everything else in motion.
That immediacy is powerful. It cuts through the procrastination.
Exactly. Just act.
What if someone listening feels like they just don't have the belief in themselves right now? That's a real barrier.
Yeah, and the podcast addresses that with a lot of compassion. They offer this beautiful idea, borrow our belief until yours catches up.
Borrow our belief. That's lovely, like getting a little boost from outside until your own confidence kicks in.
It acknowledges that self-doubt is real and normal, and sometimes you need that external encouragement just to take those first shaky steps.
So wrapping up the core message, the dream is possible.
Absolutely. Whatever it is you're dreaming of, the potential is there. It's waiting. But it needs you. It needs you to initiate. It needs that first step. It's hopeful, but it puts the power firmly back in your hands.
Okay, well that brings us to the end of this deep dive into Starting Now, inspired by that Start Now, Don't Kill Your Dreams podcast. We really hope unpacking these ideas has sparked something for you.
Yeah, we hope it gave you some useful, practical things to think about and maybe even act on.
And hey, if this resonated, maybe think about sharing it. Is there someone you know who's also kind of stuck in that waiting game?
Sharing these ideas can be really powerful. It helps you solidify them for yourself, and you might just give someone else the nudge they need. It builds a community of action takers.
Absolutely. So just remember that core message we've been circling back to. Start now. Seriously, don't let those dreams just wither away.
Start small, start scared, start messy, but start. And here's a final little challenge for you, something to take away right now.
Uh-oh, homework.
Tiny homework. What is one specific, super small, maybe even slightly imperfect action you can take literally the moment this deep dive ends? Don't overthink it.
Just one tiny thing.
Just one tiny thing. Go do it.